league, which is Double A again. They have a winning percentage of 35, which is pretty good considering how they are 1-8. So they're definitely not getting swept all their games. So they have some potential to at least get some wins. Definitely not looking like they're going to be in playoff contention, but they might not go 1-17. They do have a pretty not great goal differential, as they get scored on about 0.7 goals per game more than they score themselves. On the other hand, there are the Mustangs, which are top of their division, 3-1 in their currently their division themselves. But they are a 53% winning percentage, so things are a little weird in terms of series scores. But in terms of series results, the Mustangs definitely take it.
Yeah, I remember that they started off really strong, and last couple weeks they've had a little bit more of a struggle, letting the Jaguars catch up to them in their division. Um, and even then, losing to a team in their division, looks like the Lynx or the Jaguars. Uh, so I'm gonna ask you, do you think the Mustangs win out or win their division, or do you think the Jaguars overtake them?
See, this is a tough question. The Jaguars have a little bit of an advantage because they are already 4-0 in their division, and they were kind of the powerhouse that I thought would kind of rock Double A this season, especially with CXL, who was a really super strong Double A player last season. But it's really a toss up. I did not expect Mustangs to get as far they have been, and Viper um, has been doing great for this team. They are a three-man roster, so I feel like if they were to pick up somebody that really benefited them for the rest of the season, they could take that spot. But it's really crucial to not make that mistake if they want it.
Yeah, certainly. You know that open spot getting filled could really help them. Um, yeah. Do you think maybe they trade for a player, or do they just pick someone up?
Double A's a little bit weird with that, just because there are a lot of rosters with three people. So, if they were to trade for a player, I'm assuming that States need to get rid of quite a few things. But there definitely are some players in Double A that are worth trading for. Looking at who they can afford, which is basically anyone in the league. Sins would be good, especially because he doesn't play all the time in his current roster on the Warriors. Um, Masterus, who's actually on the team that they're going to play tonight, would also be a good pickup, as well as Ghost, who's on my roster, but we're not getting rid of him. So it's all about player shopping and coming out with the right chemistry.
Yeah, certainly, and that chemistry is important, particularly when they've been struggling a little bit recently. Uh, just look at their schedule here. Yeah, they dropped one to the Jaguars. Actually, they lost three in a row. They had a forfeit loss to the Pulsars, then they lost to a sweep to Inferno, and then lost to the Jaguars. They won against the Herons on Tuesday, so hopefully they can take that and run with it a little, get some momentum for the second half of the season. Um, let's turn our attention over to the Dukes. They have struggled a lot throughout this season. Again, only picking up that one win. What do you think? What do you think they try to do to turn this around?
Definitely win. That would be a huge difference maker.
That
Uh,
usually helps.
it does. I haven't seen them play on stream. I believe they haven't had a singular stream game yet, or I just missed it. But I'm definitely gonna look out for their play style because I feel like just looking at their roster, they're a little more of a reserve team. You saw the Jesters on stream just before this, and Blue Mars, who was a new pickup for the Dukes, played, and I would say he again was a little bit passive. So I'd like to see this team kind of use their energy a little bit more progressively rather than reserved.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Just even looking at their stats here, they seem very defensive. Some of the higher amounts of saves per game and pretty low goals per game. So yeah, trying to get aggressive certainly is going to help them, particularly against the Mustangs, who look like they like to be on offense. So
Certainly.
yeah, well, let's take a look around the league here. Um, It's about halfway through the season. We've seen the trade deadline um, change teams and change the outlook of leagues drastically before. What do you think might change?
Um, well, definitely I feel like the players or the teams rather, with those 3 players are gonna be at a huge disadvantage, and those are the Barracuda, who are not looking so great right now, the Mustangs, who are doing pretty well themselves, Pulsars, who are kind of mid-tier at the moment, and then also there wasn't their team, was there not? Maybe not, they just picked someone up. But, right now, the Mustangs are kind of the lead three-man roster, so
The Lynx. The Lynx are the other one.
where are the Lynx? Oh, the Lynx are here, and they're also mid-tier. So, it's just about getting that free agent, if not trade for a player, before those other 3 teams in the AA steal them.
Yeah, and particularly for some of those bottom tier teams, maybe picking up a player can be the difference long term and turn that around. Um, but looking at these, top tier teams in this league, you got the Herons, the Warriors. We've seen them before, and then Avalanche, all sitting there at the top. Uh, the the Granite Conference with the Jaguars and Mustangs seems to be the closest one. Because all the others seem to have made some distance from the rest of their division. Um, what about some of these mid-tier teams? The teams like the Voyagers and the Pythons and Falcons. Well, your Falcons.
Oh, wow, mid-tier team, that's toxic.
While you're sitting there at four and
Okay,
five,
okay, okay,
you're
maybe.
about half and half.
Mhm.
Uh, do you think any of those teams try to turn it around for the rest of the season and succeed in that and catching up to these leaders?
Well, definitely watch out for the Pythons, we played them, and it was really an even match, I believe every game was like a 1-goal differential. So they are 3-1 in the division, and we're 1-3, so we're a little bit behind them, but I believe both of us can kind of push for at least the 4th playoff seed between each other. It's gonna be kind of a race between us 2. In terms of the other conference, really a toss-up between Lightning and Voyagers, honestly. I'd definitely say Lightning would win that, like, coin flip by a lot. It's definitely not a 50-50. They are up 1 game on the Voyagers right now. But, I mean, the Voyagers, they have a good roster. They can really pull out anything from a hat and, you know, sweep out the Lightning maybe. In their I don't believe they've played yet. So it's just gonna be that one-on-one head series that might switch things for them.
Yeah, certainly going to be interesting to see what happens there. I just have one more question for you before we turn it over to our casters again, and that is, what do you think the outcome of this match between the Dukes and Mustangs is going to be?
I'm really feeling a 3-1 Mustangs win right now, I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't need to justify my answer because Skirky's always right, and Skirky will be right again tonight.
Well, we'll have to make sure we hold you to that. All right, and on that note, thank you very much, Skirky, and I'm going to turn it back over to Quantum and Titan.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. And there's actually something really funny that's been going on today, and I want to talk about it. So, one of the players that's going to be playing tonight is Chaotic JBC. Chaotic has not been playing this season, and with a change of heart, has now been able to play. He was traded from the Pirates organization over to the Whitecaps organization for a 7th-round pick, and then flipped over to the Bulls, right, for a 2nd-round pick as they receive courses back, and then yeah, now he's ended up on the Dukes, as not on the Dukes, on the Mustangs as they play here. So yeah, 2 trades involving Chaotic today, and that's how he ends up playing right now. On the other side, the Dukes, as we just saw Blue Mars play in the last series. He's a part of the Dukes, but he's not playing in this series. His 3 other teammates will be taking part in this one. Titan is still back here with me, and I'll be your color for today, Titan. Your play-by-play.
I am. That is me. I do that thing where I talk very, very much, very good. But yeah, Chaotic JBC has found his way to the Mustangs, which is a pretty nice place to settle yourself. You're not gonna complain too much about that, but of course, there's going to be some expectations on you coming in here. This is a team that is doing very well. They are, of course, sitting at sitting at 6-3. So I believe 6-3. That's not me. I was making things up this time. Yeah, I got it right. Hell yeah. So obviously this is, you do have to perform well here. This is a team that is looking to grab themselves that playoff spot, is in contention for it, or maybe clinching the top spot in their division. So we'll have to see how he does with this squad. As for the Dukes, again, this is another situation where this is one of those teams where they do kind of need to start getting wins, and especially because they're 1-8, you need to get something going, as it will be Draftee finding the first goal.
Yes, they need to get something going indeed. And on the side of the Mustangs, getting 6 wins before the trade deadline it is not enough to get yourself in the playoffs, as some teams can tell you. Even some teams, as the season 11 Titans, starting off 6-1, missing playoffs. So you have to imagine that you got to continue winning. You can't let those few wins get to your head and make you think, oh, we're in it to win it, baby. Because who was the team that started off 3-0 at the start of the season and is now 3-6? Was that the Jesters?
Hmm.
I think it might have been. And listen, right? Like, you start off strong, but suddenly you're at a minus, right? You're at a big minus. You're out of the playoff contention right now. You're 3-7, right? So it's really rough for this for this team. And the Dukes, their AA squad, is also in a rough position, as you just said. Meanwhile, Mustangs not doing too bad, just getting chaotic as they trade away courses. And Chaotic had one good look today so far. Let's see if he gets another one later on.
Yep, as this first game has been fairly passive, and of course it is the Dukes who have found their first goal, although that is a terrible, terrible whiff there from the last defender, and Chaotic will find his first goal. Just, okay, Draftee lagging. There we go. Okay, he's lagging. I'll excuse him from that.
Yeah, so is Chaotic though. Both of them are having quite a bit of lag. Chaotic was last season on the Mustangs, so no surprise that he gets back on that team, despite the fact that he GMs the Pirates. So he's on a team that he doesn't even GM, which is quite interesting. He got traded from the team that he GMs to the Whitecaps organization to get traded and flipped practically. From a 7th to a 2nd, right? So it seems really, really strong for that team, for the Mustangs right now. It's very interesting, the fact that he traded himself away practically to another team, though.
Yeah, and as we get further into this game, number one, half the time has elapsed, as we're looking at about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. Still, looking at the Mustangs here, they really haven't found too many shots. They've had, or too many goals, too many good looks. They've had plenty of shots, but they just haven't found any really convincing ones just yet, as it was the kind of the floater from, or not even the floater, but just the roller from Chaotic that found its way in to tie this game up. But for the Dukes, you do need to start worrying as you're getting stuck inside your own half and you really haven't had any chances to break out. And now you have a boost starve that's starting to come in, as this shot should find its way in. And as I say, no boost for anyone on the side of the Dukes, and that will be the 1-goal lead now for the Mustangs.
Yeah, the Mustangs are coming out here, and Draftee can't stop that one. He wasn't lagging that time, but he got very close to it, and that is a 1-goal lead for the Mustangs indeed.
1 minute and 45 seconds left. The Dukes, they had that strong start, and there's still plenty of time to work with here, but you can't really give away any more goals, and just like that, Chaotic got picked up, already has himself a hat trick, absolutely performing like this team was hoping he would.
Yeah, Hero almost scoring that goal there off of the double tap, but Chaotic's the one to find it, and Hero gets the assist. He gets himself the second assist of this game, and well, the Mustangs have been coming out very, very strongly indeed. Seems like the Dukes right now just not up to the challenge, because Chaotic, very strong indeed. T-Man, seems very confused as to how a GM can trade himself away from his own team and then get traded twice in the same day. Speaking of traded twice, Courses, who was traded for to the Whitecaps for Chaotic, is going to find himself in the playing tonight, in the running, as he's going to play for the Whitecaps as they play tonight at YSL. That's a great shot from him and a great bump by his teammate, making sure that one goes in. That is a beautiful bump by Who Turbo Cat, and he puts all the turbo into it, sends him to Narnia.
Only a 1-goal deficit now for the Dukes as that second shot finds its way in. Might be a third here, but the defense does get back into position, and with less than a minute left, there's still some time to work with, but it is not a lot. That can easily be whittled away before your eyes with just a few clears, a few good possessions, but it's going to be up to the Dukes here to see what they can do to try and get themselves this game 1 victory. Again, 1-8. They absolutely need to turn their season around. And this is a match where you're saying, maybe we can do it. It's a team that's 6-3, but for the Mustangs, they have Chaotic and he's absolutely performing very well. They just need to find a way to mitigate that offense, to get their clears, because they're just getting stuck in their own half for so often, as that double tap from Viper does just kill a little bit more time off the clock, keeps possession for his team. Chaotic finds that touch, and as this one finds its way to the midfield, that shot is on target! And no one in position to find the save. The Dukes are going to tie it up.
And that is a beautiful tie-up with 5 seconds left. Good team play there. And once again, off of a bump. Turbo Cat doing everything he can do to be a pestering fly. And it's a tie 3-3 game, and it's practically overtime starting at this point. Whoever scores next wins the game.
This ball should touch the ground. Hero keeping it up. Oh! The
Hero!
0-second plays.
Well, isn't that Zero and Hero all at once? Hero scoring the Hero goal at 0 seconds there. And it's a 4-3 lead, 4-3 win for this Mustangs team.
And I mean, that's got to feel so bad if you're the Dukes, because you had that game in your hands. You had the overtime. You probably felt pretty good about getting a win there. And then suddenly it's like, nope, 0 seconds. Sorry. Mustangs are going to grab it. And now they have all the momentum to go off of. I mean, a 0-second goal like that just gets your team really, moving together. They really feel, you can feel the energy that you get from making a goal like that. And now you are the Dukes and you're down 1-8 in your season. That 0-second goal happens. You're like, oh my God, this isn't really looking too good for them.
No, it doesn't really look too good. I mean, turning on the Jets in the last second, right? It's not Driptane's fault, obviously, right? He's been having lag issues. Hopefully, that gets fixed coming into this game, or maybe Blue Mars will be put into play if that's not the case, right? Because you know that Blue Mars is there and he might be able to play. So if push comes to shove, they might just put him in, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely something that could happen, as we did have to reset the lobby, as Chaotic was having lag issues, and also I believe there was a player on the Dukes that was, but they're getting on in here, and honestly the lag didn't feel like it affected Chaotic too much. He had himself a hat trick, so, just playing very, very well for them. And as we get into this game too, the Dukes, it's a terrible spot to be in for them, and they really do need to do something. They need to they just need to get something going. They need to get started. They need to find some offense. They need to find clears, most importantly.
Yeah, they just need to find clears, but they did find the bumps. They did find the offense, but the offense was really taken to them. At some point, they were down 9-2 in the shots. The goals were 3-1, right? It looked so bleak for them. They came back, and then, 0-second goal, right? Literally 0 to hero, and that is quite the hard pill to swallow if you're the Dukes.
Yeah, it's a terrible way to lose that game, and it's gotta be so hard to find your way back into the right mindset after that. But we'll have to see if the Dukes can do it. They absolutely do need to, as we are going to be getting into game number 2. All of the players are in. All of them are ready to go. Game number 2, Mustangs steal away that first win. The 0-second goal. Hero making the hero plays to give his team that victory. The Dukes now, that was just game 1, but it already feels like they're in a very, very rough spot.
And game number 2 is underway here, and this could possibly be another sweep coming out here, right? Obviously, this Mustangs team is coming out really strong, and the Dukes, coming out trying to be a little bit more aggressive. Draftee still in play here, so hopefully his lag goes down, and if it doesn't, I would bring in Blue Mars, right? Because obviously a lagging player is not very good, even if the player himself is really good and better than your sub, if by MMR wise anyway. If the lag really stops him from playing that well, you need to bring in that sub.
Absolutely, as it does look like Draftee is still having a bit of trouble here with his ping. It's pretty high, and that is, of course, an unfortunate spot to be in, so we'll have to see how well the Dukes can manage. TurboCat will find this touch out, as the biggest struggle there for the Dukes in the last game was just getting clears. They managed to find the comeback, but their biggest issue was they were constantly getting stuck on their own half, and they just couldn't find consistent enough touches to really get their offense going. Because when they did get on the offensive end, I mean, it looked fine. And it's the same story that we saw in our last series as well, where, the team that ended up losing, their offense looked great, but they just couldn't get onto it consistently enough.
Mm-hmm. And, TurboCat's gonna miss that. Leaves it for YSL. Over to Draftee. Draftee once again hitting into the 400s for his ping. And, yeah, that's very detrimental to the well-being of this Dukes team. But TurboCat, my bad, makes it work. YSL with 2 amazing 50s to get that ball into the center, right into the crease, and it finds TurboCat.
Dukes starting off with the first goal. Same story as last game. We'll just have to see if they can hold on to it this time and if they can try and expand that lead. But, okay.
You didn't even finish your sentence. And it's already in the back of the net, 6 seconds. And, that is a Squiddle-esque goal there. Hero probably looking at the stream and saw what Squiddle did. And he said, you know what? I'll take a page from his book. And scores a goal that pretty much resembles that one, except probably not as well placed.
Yeah, I mean, he just launched that from his own half, and there was absolutely nobody there, and you'll take those. Honestly, if you're the Mustangs, you're saying, okay, that's an easy equalizing goal. We didn't have to work for it, and suddenly, the Dukes, they start off strong, and it's completely thrown away, and they just got to keep going as Draftee. That's not a good touch. The follow-up, though, won't be there. Viper couldn't find the shot, as we will stay tied up, but 2 minutes and 47 seconds left on this clock. And for the Dukes, this game 2, it really does feel like a must-win, because if you go down 0-2 in this series, I really don't see them pulling off a reverse sweep.
Especially up against how strong this Mustangs team is. Look at that, chaotic coming in. That's his 4th goal of the series. Oh my goodness me, only 2 goals are not in his name, and I think both of them belong to Hero. So, on the other side, Viper, right? Despite having literally no goals this series, he's been showing up very, very strongly. He's got himself a few assists. He's got himself a lot of saves. So despite not being on that score sheet, he's been doing a lot of good work to help his team out here.
Absolutely is. 2-1 now. Mustangs, they have themselves the lead, and this is kind of gifted to them again after that first goal. We'll have to see what they can do with it. 2 minutes in this game, and for the Dukes, it's just been inconsistency and mistakes that have been costing them some very good positions. And of course, you have Draftee looks like his ping has sorted itself out, so you really do want to start to see him get involved here. That infield pass is very nice, but YSL couldn't get to that touch or couldn't get a good touch on that, and right now the Mustangs just doing a good job of playing back and forth, getting the clears, and keeping up their rotation.
Keeping up with the rotation, indeed. 90 seconds left here. And as you said, Draftee needs to get back into the action here. He hasn't had a lag spike in over 2 minutes, and yet has yet to do anything really, has he? So he needs to get on with his team there. TurboCat trying to get that shot. Draftee is forced to go out of rotation there. He should have been last man back, able to read that play off of Viper. Instead, that goes over to Hero. Hero is stopping YSL, stops Chaotic. And Chaotic is a good way to represent the last minute here for the Dukes.
50 seconds in this game, and this one...
you wanna explain that one, or do you want to leave that one to me?
You see, I think this was a high-level strategic play from Chaotic in order to give his team the back pass for Hero to find, for Viper. For Hero to find the touch to Viper, back to Hero. It was all planned. Chaotic is a genius. And obviously the Mustangs are the best team ever, and we should all bow down to their intelligence.
The biggest brain plays sometimes are masqueraded as very small, smooth brain plays, right? Like shots off the wall like those that you don't even expect to come out of these players, right? You don't expect weird shots coming out from those angles especially, right? There's 2 players in the net. How dare you even think about shooting there? And yet he does, and he scores. And he scored there twice. So
yeah,
can you really argue how big brain the small brain strats are, right? Because you might think it's small brain until, well, no one really thinks about these kind of plays, right? So is it really that small brain if you do these plays, because the opponents are not gonna really think about it, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, right now the Mustangs, I have to admit, they have the wrinkliest brains I've ever seen. There's just so many folds in that mind that they have, that collective mind. It's not even multiple minds. It's just one big mind of wrinkles that they have.
It's a hive mind.
It's a hive mind, as the Mustangs will get the 4-1 victory. And as I said for the Dukes, if they lose this game, I really don't have any hope for them in Game 3, because towards the end of that, you could just tell that there was desperation, and it just did not look good, as we are going to reset the lobby again. Despite the fact that the pings looked fine, there might have still been a bit of lag coming out for the players, so we'll just make sure that this last game here has a new server and everyone is nice and comfortable for what might be a 3-0 sweep.
Now, you as the Dukes GM here, I think that is Mar. You put Blue Mars in, or was it Mitch? I think it might be Mitch actually. You put Blue Mars in, right, in the A game as your sub down, and you don't play him obviously because he's already played his game, and the other 3 players are ready to play. But with Driptane's problems here, even despite the fact he only had 2 lag spikes there, right? Like I was looking at his ping practically the entire time, and he was fine other than the 2 times he shot up to 400. Otherwise, he was doing pretty decently. So I do expect a little bit of a switch in here, because if he does have problems, then he needs to be switched out. And if he doesn't have any problems, then what's his excuse for not doing so well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that game, he looked pretty fine. As it looks like we're still waiting on the lobby to get on up. I'm not sure what's going on. The old lobby might still be up. You know, weird stuff with We'll see as we are waiting to see and get this one started. But Game 3, Mustangs up 2-0, QDC. Well, what do you think? You think this is gonna be a 3-0 sweep?
Sadly, as much as everyone hates to think about a 3-0 sweep, you can't help but admit that it would be that it feels like that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Because this team just they played so well in game number 1. Once again, another team that can throw the body when need be, but they can't do it consistently. And that's what you need as a team: consistency. You need to be able to play the entirety of those 5 minutes. And the Mustangs have been able to play consistently 5 minutes. Sometimes they haven't been the best team on the field, despite the fact that they've always been playing practically the same way for those 5 minutes. So if the Dukes can ramp it up here and keep up that ramped up style of play, they will beat the Mustangs here. But they need to be able to consistently keep it for those 5 minutes.
As we are having some fun here, because it turns out the old lobby has still not gone down, and people are just hopping in and keeping it up. So we're trying to get into the new one, but it is being a very slow process as we are trying to get this last game up here. So hopefully, everyone has left. Everyone, nope. Okay, we're still waiting.
Okay. So stop joining it. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe wait for Irony. By the way, shout out to Irony for streaming and for creating the lobbies. Very big shout out to him. Right, you have to wait for that guy, right? You got to wait for him to give you the ping. Hey, everything's good. We're good to go. Let's get this show on the road, right? Yeah. So the show's already halfway through the road here, I would say, and the ship's practically sailed. We know in what direction it's sailing in, but there's a chance the winds are blowing in another direction.
I mean, it's kind of less like the ship has set sail, and it's more like the ship has beached onto land for the Dukes, but it also went into a sinkhole and is now buried about 15 feet underground, and they have to try and dig it out. So we'll see if they can. We'll see if they can do it. As I'm pretty sure the lobby is still up, and we're just trying because I keep joining Apolloon, and I'm just like, that's not the right lobby because we just joined that one.
Didn't I just tell you to stop and wait for for?
I am. Okay, we have new info. We're getting on in. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Why could you let the lobby die back?
It wasn't my fault. The players were keeping it up. I joined in again, and they were just sitting in there. I was like, leave.
Well, the Dukes are going to get a color change. So are the Mustangs. Dukes are going to be in purple and Mustangs in yellow for this last match here. Anything? Oh, my goodness.
Keep it alive. Go! You gotta love that.
This is a mess.
Titan,
what have you done?
What have I done? I have no idea. Okay, they're getting in here. They're figuring it out. Never mind, Draftee hasn't figured it out. Okay, he's back.
Draftee has stayed in the series here. You're not bringing in Blue Mars here. Hey, who knows? Maybe Blue Mars had something else to do, or maybe he just doesn't work well with this team, and they're trying to find a trade, or maybe he's just new to the team and has yet to find that chemistry. So who knows? Right now, game number 3 is underway, and both teams here are going to try and go out with a bang. Obviously, Mustangs want the 3-0. That's the easiest way to pad your stats, but the Dukes want the reverse sweep, obviously.
I mean, the Dukes almost need a reverse sweep at this point in their season. I mean, they've said it multiple times. They're 1-8. It's not a spot that you want to be in. It's kind of terrible, to be honest, because every single loss from here on out just puts you further and further away from being able to try and make a comeback into your season. And I mean, you're already pretty far away from being able to do that. As YSL, okay. I was gonna say YSL doesn't have the boost to get to this, so I'm not sure why he's jumping up. But I guess even though he's about a mile away from it, Chaotic falls for it, and that one will just find its way in.
That looks like a goal I would score. I mean assist on, because I don't score goals. I just go up and tactically whiff that ball and make the other players absolutely think I'd somehow miraculously hit that ball. And that's what Chaotic fell for. He fell for that sham, and he got scammed.
Yeah, that was as seen on TV redirect right there from YSL. He said, listen, I'm going to be able to do so much with this. It's going to go so far into the top corner. And Chaotic absolutely fell for it. He dialed it up right away. He spent that $30. He even spent the $60 to get 2 of that fake and also got it doubled for his money. but it turned out it was all a scam, and it was actually giving the Dukes the first goal, which has been, you know, the story of this series is the Dukes have always gotten the first goal. However, there has always been the question, how long can they hold on to that lead?
Well, so far so good for them, right? And I want to shout out Happy here for making the puns instead of me. He got duked. Well, Viper scoring his first goal of the series as he dunks this one down from Chaotic. Great pass from Chaotic. Just puts it in past Draftee. Draftee just a little bit out of the net there, not able to get the ball in time. And Viper, I want to continue on with the TV salesman, but wait, there's more.
This just has to keep you hooked as the Mustangs once again find the equalizing goal in very, very good time. And, you know, this has just been the story of every single game this series. The Dukes get that first goal, and then their hope is immediately thrown away, tarnished, tossed in the bin, and they just have to sit back and try and get themselves back into the game, but they have struggled to do that for the last two. And this is now a do-or-die scenario for them. This touch off the sidewall is good, but Viper just bangs it on net. Draftee will find the save, as it looks like he's finally has no ping, no lag issues. He is playing at full force. We'll see if that will make a difference here for the Dukes, as this touch up high, Draftee last one back, does get a nice clear out. And so far, the Mustangs just maintaining possession with a nice backfield touch, but Dukes trying to see what they can do to pressure. That's 3 players committed up. TurboCat, the last one, will find the pinch out, but the rotation coming through this drop down, not exactly what they want. YSL with the miss. Hero, not the best touch, though. Can't get the follow-up to go underneath the last defender, and the Mustangs can't find themselves the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, Hero trying to find it himself, trying to, sorry for the pun again, but trying to be the hero, right? And, well, he can't find it. He can't find the go-ahead goal, as you said, and it's still tied at 1 with 92 seconds left here. So far, so good for the Dukes, though. They've been holding it off, and they've been putting a lot of pressure on. Let's see if that's going to turn into a goal. Sadly, TurboCat misses it, and YSL, his last man back, but that's a good 50 there. Viper's shot is going to be stopped by Draftee, cleared up high into the air. Hero not able to find it, and that is some great play on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, for both teams.
Yeah, Draftee absolutely tearing it up on the defense, has himself 3 saves, got that savior medal. That's a whip, though, but Hero misread it just slightly. That could have been the goal there for the Mustangs, but as it is now, it's still tied up. 6 shots, and only one of them has found their way in. This touch is dangerous, the demo, but nobody there for the shot. The follow-up is just off. Draftee can't place it in, and now that double coming out could be dangerous. Draftee last one back, has to find a good touch here, and he will just let it go to the side wall to get off the backboard. Gets dunked through by Viper. Now the follow-up should be there. Chaotic can't put it in. Hero with the double commit, and somehow we have not found a goal.
Yeah, no goals on the side of Mustangs, and no punishment on the side of the Dukes. So the ball is still in play here, and it just continues on as is. And 15 seconds left on the board. It seems like we might go to overtime here, but we don't know yet. This does feel like overtime's already started.
Oh, the demos, though, opening up some space for Viper on the 1v1. Fakes that one. Gets a good 50 over. Chaotic can't find the shot. Hero trying to do it in the last seconds. Both him and Chaotic are up. They can't find the shot, and this touch should go to the ground. No 0-second goals this time. We're going to overtime as the Dukes fighting for their lives, fighting for their chances. In this series, that's a good touch on net, but Hero will be there. The follow-up, though. No one able to get that shot through. As the Dukes getting a good amount of pressure, and, you know, on these hard resets, it always does feel like they have the advantage. They start off so well in these games. But YSL can't find the shot. It was open, and he couldn't place it in. Oh, Chaotic fakes one. Good 50 over to Hero, but it won't be on net. It's rotation now coming through. Viper ends up just chipping it off the backboard, and Mustangs are going to retain control, looking for the passing plays. Chaotic can't find it. As we are still going here, approaching the first minute of overtime, and this is possibly the most close game we've had this series.
Very true, but as I said earlier, remember that punting thing I said earlier about teams giving away the ball? Right now, the Dukes are not controlling this ball. when they have it, they throw it away and they give it straight back to the Mustangs. And the Mustangs, they're just passing it to each other here and trying to keep possession of the ball. And that is very smart play by them, and they might be the ones here to score with that smart play. How does that 50 happen? Thank goodness that YSL is in the net waiting. He would have going to be in no man's land if that shot actually went over him. He would have had the reaction time like a goalie in soccer, just waiting there, not expecting the shot and just being like, oh, well, I can't do anything about this. But luckily for him, that ball just had 0 speed on it. He was easily able to pick it up.
Yeah, that was quite a strange 50, as this one is just going to be barely off.
That's
Still
another
the
strange
Dukes.
50.
Oh, the Dukes hunting so hard for this goal here. Draftee off the backboard, but it will be cleared out by Viper. Somehow we have not had a single goal. Neither of these teams, despite the various opportunities that have been presented to them, they have not been able to find themselves a solid shot on net that can't be saved away by the defense. Low boost here on Hero, can't find the 50-50. And for the Mustangs here, this is probably the shakiest they've played all series. You know, this is a few uncharacteristic misses coming out from them. You can tell the nerves as it's game 3, and they just want to get this over with, you know? You just want to say, all right, we got it. We got the sweep. We're done. Our season's looking good. We're 7-3. But they just can't find this one goal.
No, they can't, but it definitely looks like they want to put it away. But right now, the Dukes are just stopping them. The shots are pretty equal at 10 versus 8 for the Mustangs, right? So both teams are doing it pretty well. The Dukes have slowed down the ball. They're taking passes now. They're not just throwing the ball away. They're no longer panicking like they were before. And so that's a very good sight to see. Both teams are doing what they can. And that's not going to be a hero play from Hero, as that just goes wide with no power.
Oh, this shot saved away by Draftee. So many close opportunities here for the Mustangs as YSL up very early for this one. Leads in with low boost and Turbo Cat. Not a lot to work with for that 50. Now the Mustangs might have an opportunity here. Low boost on the side of the Dukes, but they get the clear. Draftee going to get the touch onto the backboard. He can't have the follow-up, but his teammate should be there. So is Hero. He finds the save, finds the clear out. 3 minutes of overtime, approaching our 4th minute. We almost have an entire game 4 already. And right now for the Dukes, this would be an incredible win if they can get it. It would start off the reverse sweep. They would have so much momentum. But they still just need to find this goal, and they just haven't been able to get onto the offense very often.
I like the consistency, though. Both teams coming in with the same amount of energy right now, and it shows that Draftee is able to be to play right now because he's got himself 4 saves. In fact, the Dukes have 9 saves in total to 4 for the Mustangs, despite how close the shots are. The one problem with Dukes is that their shots are just not on net. We saw a few go off the post, like that crazy 50 that could have ended overtime. That one just went off the post, and that's just one of the few examples. That ball's in the zone, and Viper, he's able to keep it in. That's a very good play, very smart play by this Mustangs team right now. 4.5 minutes in overtime have been played.
Yeah, Viper might have been able to get a good shot there, but a little bit of a rush from Hero, and he wasn't able to get it in as we're approaching the 5th minute of overtime. We're going to have an entire game 4 at this point. As, you know, the longer you get into overtime, the harder and harder it is to score, it feels like, because you're so much more aware of how aggressive you are, and both teams are just start to play so passively because they don't want to make that first mistake.
Oh, no, definitely not. You don't want to be that team that makes that mistake, right? You want to, and not just that, you're starting to get tired, right? Just like in real life, let's say you're playing multiple overtimes. A good example, that in the NHL in the first round, the first game of the first round, actually, the Lightning versus Columbus, they went to 5 overtimes, right? They practically played 3 whole hockey games, and they were so tired at the end of it that the players couldn't even jump to celebrate when they finally scored, right? They were so tired, they were like mini jumping as a way to celebrate. They couldn't jump over a foot off the ground. So right now, these players obviously are starting to get tired. Their hands needing a little bit of a break. Obviously, that's why these games are only 5 minutes.
Oh, Hero!
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The sweep is complete. Hero giving a big fat 0 next to the Dukes win column. as they take it in the sweep, and Hero once again scoring a very, very clutch goal. That's 2 clutch goals for Hero. And I think he scored all 3 game winners in this series.
He did, as
He scored the
what?
first goal for the Mustangs when the Dukes didn't score any in game 2. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that is a 3 clutch goal game for Hero there. Definitely deserving the title of Hero.
Yeah, and that was an impressive overtime. And for the Dukes, it always feels terrible that they, can't play at that same level for all 3 games. Because, of course, if they brought that same level of play to game 1 and game 2, this might have been a completely different series because that overtime was so close. But they got their act together in the end. It just wasn't quite enough. The Mustangs finally found the goal. They had so many opportunities, but 10 saves from the Dukes, absolutely tearing it up. But that is going to conclude it for our double A match. Mustangs go up to 7-3 on their season, and for the Dukes, they are now 1-8 in a very, very rough spot for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a short break. We're going to be ending streams, swapping over streamers, so stick around. We will be back because we have our next match coming up at 8:15. It's going to be AAA Knights versus the Bulldogs. It's going to be one hell of a match, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, okay, stream can't hear us.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, easy